Let's go drift it.
Hey guys, it's Andrew from Drifting Dad Performance, and today I wanted to finally update you guys on this car right behind me, the LS swapped RX7. I've been super busy working on that and working on a bunch of other rear ends and other assorted Drifting Dad Performance products. So let's take a closer look at what I've done on the RX7. The factory oil pressure gauge on the RX7 actually uses an 1/8 inch pipe thread. So I got this nice Earl's adapter, 20365 is the part number, that's going to convert the LS oil pressure sensor to an 1/8 inch pipe thread so I can use the stock RX7 oil pressure sensor. Alright, now it's time to put the dormant intake back on. Alright, so I've got the intake on now. But what we're going to need to do next is get the fuel rails on. So I've put the injectors in, as you can see here, and I've got the fuel rail here as well. We're going to put the fuel rail on, kind of get it in position, and then I'm going to see how high this crossover tube here is compared to like the hood and everything, make sure it clears. If it doesn't clear, we're going to have to modify this. I believe this is stainless, so I should be able to modify it pretty easily on the welder, and if I have to, I can use some tube or some rubber fuel line as well, but I really want to try to keep it hard line, so I'll weld it up nice. So I've got the fuel lines in here now, but it definitely does not fit, so we're going to have to get creative, see how we can make that work. I'd really like to avoid not having to buy like the aluminum fuel rails and the AN lines and all that. I'd like to use these stock ones if we can. So right now the engine is its final location. I've got the transmount in, it's just mocked up and fabbed up, but I need to get it out so I can get it all painted up. So I will show you guys how that looked. So here's the transmission mount in the car. See, I had to do some modification to get it to fit. If you notice, the transmission mount is at an angle because I turned it 17 degrees so that the shifter is straight up and down. So this tail shaft is technically supposed to be 17 degrees off center when it's in the Camaro, but I wanted to turn it so the shifter would sit straight up and down. I also have an energy suspension mount. I think they're great mounts for the price. You notice it just needs the center bolt. That's the only bolt that's going to be in it. So here it is in the car. I'm going to take it out to paint it, and I'll show you guys a better view of it. So here's the mount on the bench. See here, I had to weld it, and then I had to weld here as well. So originally, before the this piece was more bent, and obviously this hole here was over here somewhere. But what I did was I flattened it, and then I cut it off from here, move that down here, basically get the angle, change up the angle. So I'm going to paint this up and then put it in the car. And this setup, this is the standard Granny's like GM transmission mount. So I was pretty happy I was able to modify it with what I had. And then a good tip here, so you can see I ground this off because what I did here was before I cut everything apart, I tacked a straight bar between these two so that all the angles and everything would stay correct as I made my modifications to change the mounting hole. So that using some sort of bar here to hold them together is good when you have to modify something that's already been built. One of the next things to figure out is the radiator. So we've got this radiator here from Jegs. I think it's like a 19 by 19 universal core radiator. I'm going to fit that into the RX7. It's nice and thick, so it should provide plenty of cooling, keep it cool in traffic, and then also I've got a nice fan to aid in the cooling. This right here is a Spall fan. I love this ball fans. It's the only thing I'm going to run on any car that I work on. Unlike some other competitors' fans or like an eBay fan, I know that these are thoroughly tested and are going to provide the rated CFM. I've used these in all sorts of race cars, trophy trucks, you name it. They're very dependable. They are really durable, and they also do a great job keeping the car cool. So you can see here, the fan fits really nice. I'm going to make a nice simple shroud with some cutouts in it so that when during highway speeds and stuff that this gets plenty of cooling. The fan doesn't block the cooling. The shroud doesn't block the cooling. All right, so in order to fit this massive radiator, we've got to do a few things. So first thing here, if you can see, I'm going to trim this lip off. This is where the existing, not air dam, but ducting for the stock radiator was, because the stock radiator sat pretty far back. So I'm going to trim that, get that out of the way. And then if you look over here, see if I can show you here, this is where that fan, like the clutch fan, would mount onto the water pump. I'm going to trim that off for some more clearance as well. And then my challenge here is to get both the radiator and the AC condenser into this space. So it's going to require some creativity, but it's not going to be a problem. All right, so I actually misspoke about the fan earlier. It has to be a polar configuration because we have the AC condenser. I've got to pull air through there when I am idling and stuff, so the AC works at idle. So I'll be able to make that setup work. That fan's pretty slim, so we shouldn't have any issues there. All right, so now we got the lip cut off. It came out nice and clean. I didn't lose the horn mounting bracket though. You can see here. So we'll figure out what to do with those at a later time. Sure, we'll have plenty of room to put those in. So now it's time to fit the radiator. All right, so we've got plenty of space here. I put the AC condenser in. I'm hoping I can kind of figure out how to mount it up front here so it really doesn't interfere with the radiator at all. I'm going to put the radiator in, and it looks like will be really good. So you can see here there's plenty of room, and then depending on what kind of fan we want to run, we can. I think what I have right now is a Polar, so we'd like to get the maximum. All right, I've got the transmission mount all painted up, so now it's time to put it back in the car. All right, the last thing I've been doing is modifying the shifter. So you can see here, it doesn't look too pretty right now, but what I've done is adjusted the stock Camaro or T5 shifter, Camaro shifter, to be straight up and down. Then the last thing I need to do is to trim this piece and get it the right height for the RX7 shift boot, and then put the right thread on it to put the stock RX7 shift knob back on. I did try to put cut up the stock RX7 shifter, but unfortunately the metal they used for that is real weird. Does not weld well at all, so I'd had to go a different route. All right, so what I've got here, I've got these trimmed off the shifter, and then I've got a standard N12 1.5 wheel stud. I'm going to trim it up a little bit. It's going to go right onto here, and this is the correct thread for the stock RX7 shifter. All right, so I've just finished welding the shifter. You can see here, and I'm ready to test fit the actual shift knob on here. You can see here, this is the part that holds the shift boot, the cosmetic one, so that threads right on. And then right here, we've got the shift knob threading on. So I'll get that all set up in the car, but you can see here, everything threads on nice. All right, so now we're in the car. and I've got the shifter all mounted up. So you can see here, we got stock appearing shifter with the shift boot and surround. Obviously you have to put everything back together, but this is going to turn out really nice. One of the goals that the owner had was to keep the interior looking as stock as possible. So I was challenged to get the shifter to look just like the stock RX7 shifter. All right, well that about wraps up all the updates thus far. Thank you guys for checking this out. Please let me know what you think. Any suggestions or comments, please share them. And I hope that you guys have a good one, and stay tuned for more content on this LS swap, as well as more content on all of the products that I make here at Drifting Dad Performance. Thank you guys.